awakening. In every great movement in this country's history, there was an awakening and an enlightenment. The Enlightenment brought us Martin Luther King, brought us George Washington, brought us Abraham Lincoln. We're not there yet. We're at the awakening. It can be violent, or it can be peaceful. Let's wake America up peacefully together. More in a second. All right. I have to explain something to you. Our nation is drowning in our own debt. And now they're talking about deflation. I need to explain what deflation is. Make sure you log on to glennbeck.com and sign up for a subscription to Fusion magazine. In the September issue, we feature a bunch of great columns, including one on the history of the national debt. And you'll learn about the events that changed our financial history from the days of our founders till now. Here we go. You ready to learn about deflation? Play the game. It really, this is stupid. This really is like, what is that? Press your luck? It's like that game, press your luck. And that's exactly what we're having. Let me show you. Here we were saying that there was trouble. This is back September 29th, 2008, when we had this huge drop, and everybody panicked and said, oh boy, it's going to fall apart. And it was going to fall apart. So what happened? Here is the line of the economy. This is what it normally is, okay? And we had to keep everybody's job. You've got to keep it going up about here. But because everything started to go down, we had deflation. We had people stop spending money, et cetera, et cetera. You couldn't get loans. Well, everything started to go down. And so what did we do? We had the market slide. We had the TARP clearance about here. And we just started pouring money into this big pit here. Started pouring money into it. Then we had the auto bailouts because they said this would save jobs. Save jobs. By the way, it was 10.8% today. It's 14% Detroit unemployment. So that didn't work. The stimulus passes on February 13th, 2009. Then we have cash for clunkers. That's kicking in. Then we have cash for caulkers. We just keep pouring money, your money, into this hole, trying to fill this all up with cash. Got it? Just trying to keep it up here so everybody keeps their job. That's the idea. Now, the secret is, this is where press your luck comes in. The secret is you press this in until things get better and people say, okay, I'm ready to reinvest, I've stabilized. Then the economy kicks in and people start to hire people again. That's where the engine starts, right about here. Okay? Now the Fed, what the Fed has to do is, at this time, press your luck. You have to time it just right to suck all this money back in. Otherwise, the line is no longer here. All this money just starts raising up here, and you have what's called inflation. You understand? Unfortunately, we're entering a new phase. We're down here, but now everybody is saying we're going to have deflation. That's what they said we were going to have here. Don't worry about inflation. The Fed is worried about deflation. We did, remember? Your home price went down. Is your stuff worth the same as it was back here? No. But now they're saying deflation is coming. That means we're headed down here. We can't kickstart it's not working. So now it's coming down here, which means we now have to push more money to fill this. Otherwise, we fall off a cliff. So now, the farther down it goes, the more money. Here's the problem. The money supply, we already now have $8.6 trillion in our money. Our U.S. debt has gone from $9 trillion to $13 trillion already, and we are here. We're about to rack up a whole bunch more new debt. And if, God forbid, it ever kicks in, you can't suck this money back far enough. All this money, you can't get it back. You can't get it back fast enough, which leads to something called hyperinflation. Do me a favor. Will you just look into the Weimar Republic? The Weimar Republic, spelled with a W. And I ain't good at spelling, but I got that one. The Weimar Republic. Look it up. See if you notice any similarities of the Weimar Republic and how they dealt with it. You know, pushing drugs. Look at the Weimar Cabaret. Look at the things that were going on. Look at the way people escaped. Look what it led to with their money supply. I hope to God this doesn't happen. But we're here now, and they're talking about coming deflation. Look out. This isn't just a term that people are throwing around saying, oh, deflation. That doesn't affect you. This does. Now, next, the media controlling the message. No. Yes. We'll show you how next. You know, we had something else planned, and Harry, our camera operator, came up to me as I was, hi, Harry. Harry came up to me as I was getting ready to do the next break, and he asked a really good question, and I said, you know what, let's save the next break for tomorrow, because this is important. Deflation is coming. And when was the first time we said that on this program? Do you know, Tiffany? Long time ago. Everybody was talking about deflation is coming. Inflation, I originally said, was coming because I really thought, I didn't think we'd do all of this. And I really thought we'd have to bottom out and then the engine will kickstart again. And when that happens, to be able to hit, it's like popping the clutch on a car. You start rolling it down the hill, and once it gets enough speed, you pop the clutch, and it starts again, and it takes off. That's what stimulus is supposed to do. But that's not what we're using it for. We're using it to fill all this hole to keep the prices and everything here, to keep everybody having a job, not to kickstart the engine. We're dismantling the engine while we're filling this hole. So now they're talking about deflation. So the engine hasn't started and we're facing a hill. So we can't go there. What we have to do is take this road. This is deflation. And take this road. We're going down again, which means we're going to have to pile more money in. Now here's what Harry said when we went into the break. He said, well, wait a minute. Isn't that good? Because doesn't that just mean that everything's going to be cheaper? Ah, you'd think so. Not so much. This is what I told Harry. I said, how much did you pay for your car, Harry? He said, $25,000. I said, okay, let's say you bought your car here for $25,000. That same new car down the road with deflation might sell new for $19,000, $20,000, maybe $18,000. Now, when you want to buy a new car and you have to sell this, if you bought it for $25,000, it's just like your house. You're upside down in it. How are you going to sell that car? Who's going to pay $20,000 for your used car when you can buy a new one for $18,000? That's not good. So then what happens? Well, when it gets bad enough, then the benevolent FDR steps in. The benevolent, the great and powerful Oz will step in and say, you know what? You cannot sell cars less than $20,000. And he puts an artificial floor and price controls. Price controls, the step to permanent death. Price controls also means that you most likely have minimum wage coming. So there's nothing about the free market happening. People can't make less, even though cars and houses and everything else, you can't, the employer can't sell his stuff. Nobody wants to buy it. Why? Because even if that new car is at $18,000, for instance, why aren't you buying a new house right now? If you have a job, why aren't you buying a new house? Do you know the kind of deals you can get on houses? You get great deals. You don't think we're at the bottom, do you? See, most people, and that's why this is so hard, because nobody has that gut. It's 1 in a million to be able to say, now it's coming back right before it comes back. Nobody has that gut. Most people buy a house about here. Well, actually, I should say, most people buy a house here or up here. But good guys, I mean, somebody who really has a gut, they buy it as the thing starts to come back. They buy it. They don't buy at the bottom. That's a miracle to buy at the very bottom. Usually people who are very good can time it here. So nobody's going to buy it at $18,000. So they can't sell the car at $18,000. So they lower it again. They can't sell it then. They lower it again. And everybody sees it. It's like there's a sale. And then next week it says 50% off. Then the next week it says 75% off. The next week it says 95. you just wait for a better price. That's deflation. Here's the problem.